All right, Dr. Frank, let's just jump right into this. This is going to be a very practical, probably won't even be a discussion. This could be a very practical explanation on how and why to vote on the last day in order to foil the people who want to cheat the system. So, Dr. Frank, can you just jump right into, first of all, summarizing how exactly are our elections being stolen again?
What they're doing is they're inflating the voter rolls beforehand, before the election. That gives them a bunch of names of people who aren't real voters. And then during the election, they hack into the machines, they track what the current tallies are, and they know who's voted. And more importantly, they know who's not voted. And then that way they know who to stuff ballots for. And they've got all those names in reserve. And then after the election, they can tidy up the rolls and hide it. So the point is, we want you to vote on election day, because if you vote beforehand, you're basically telling them the tally in advance, telling them how many votes to steal. And then also, since they know you already voted, they know who else hasn't voted, and so who to stuff for. So that's why we want you to vote on election day. And there's another thing I want people to do, and that's that if they've received a ballot by mail, not an application for a ballot, if they've actually received an actual ballot in by the mail, don't open it. Keep it in your pocket. Show up on election day at the polls and say, and just stand in line. I want to vote. And if they say, well, gee, we mailed you a ballot, where's that ballot? You can say, oh, here it is. And you can take it out and you can use that ballot. But if they say to you, sorry, you're not allowed to vote because you already voted, that's a great situation, because then you take the ballot out and you say, aha, no, I haven't already voted. I demand to see a photocopy of the cover of the envelope that my ballot was shipped in before, because I want to see the signature. I want to see the address you mailed it to. I want to see the address it came from. I demand to see a report, and you file a formal report with the managers of that precinct or of that election official there. And then you can take that to the sheriff. Your identity's been stolen. That's a crime. So that's why we want you to wait till election day. If you did get a ballot ahead of time, don't open it, because you don't want to break the chain of custody on that ballot. Keep it sacrosanct. And then when you show up at the polls, if they have not recorded you as having voted yet, fine, take the thing out and vote with it. There's no problem with that.
I think that was a very concise part of the whole thing. So basically, we're trying to screw up the algorithm that they have by not giving them the data up front. And at the same time, we're also saying, okay, if someone does vote for you before you get there, you've got the evidence, so file a complaint right there and then, turn around and call the sheriff, and then should they contact, say, somebody like you?
If they would like to, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, what I would like them to do is organize that in their own county. So find out who is kind of already in charge of election integrity in that community. There are grassroots groups springing up all over the country who are managing this and organizing this. If you want, you can call me or email me and contact me, and we'll get you in touch with Cause of America. We'll find out who in that area is working in this area. But the idea is you will never give that ballot up. Don't ever let it out of your hands. They're going to want to take it from you. Oh, we want to destroy that ballot. No way, Jose. That is your evidence that your ballot was stolen from you. And what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to say, give us that ballot, we'll destroy it, and we'll give you a provisional ballot that you can fill out. That provisional ballot is trash, because the law says they have to count the first ballot from you, and that one's already in. So don't do that. Don't buy that. Keep that ballot in your hand. That's really important evidence.
Got it. So just rattle it straight up. Make sure you vote in person on the last day. If you get a ballot in the mail, which if you're in Washington State, that's all of us, keep that ballot until the last day. And in fact, can you address the fact for states like Washington, where we're 100% mail-in only, what's the process there?
Well, that is a problem. In states where it's all mail-in anyway, I think Oregon is the same. And many states are moving that direction, which is a horrible situation. But in states where they're mailing them all out anyway, if there's any way you can verify before election day whether or not they've received a ballot from you, do that. So, for example, I know some states offer a service where you can log in online and they track the status of your ballot. They say, yes, we mailed it on such and such a day. We received it on such and such a day. Your vote was tallied on such and such a day. And so if there's any way you can check before you turn in your ballot, wait till that last minute. Now, in places like Washington, where everything is a drop box or mail in anyway, one of the problems you're up against is that they're going to just count for weeks and weeks and weeks and find more and more ballots until they get what they want anyway. So it's sort of a problem. But that's why tracking where your ballot is your best bet.
Mm-hmm. Well, the recommendation that I've been hearing here is to keep the ballot till the last day and then go to the auditor's office the day of. And then do what you just said. I mean, you could check online to see if it's voted already, but you'll know that whether or not someone voted for you. And if they haven't, you could cast a vote right there, hopefully screwing up their algorithm. And if someone has, you could do the steps that you just described. Yes?
That sounds good. Basically, bottom line, we're playing in their arena. They make the rules, and they don't even follow their own rules. So it's sort of a uphill battle anyway. We're at a huge disadvantage. In the end, we've got to get the voting back into the precincts under our own control, under the citizen control. And until that happens, you are at a huge disadvantage anyway. But this is just one possible way for you to expose fraud.
Well, and then it does appear to be working in some areas.
It sure does.
Yes.
And in Clark County, for example, Clark County, Washington, your team organized the grassroots ahead of time and clandestinely arranged a huge number of people to show up on the election day and primary day, and you swept the election because they weren't expecting that big of a turnout. So that's another important strategy. That's why we want to wait till the last minute. Tell all your friends to vote. Turn up on election day or vote at the last minute possible, because it gives them less time to cheat and it exposes more fraud.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Dr. Frank, for that explanation. And then everyone go forth and vote courageously.
Please do.